Alright, so this is No Man's Sky, almost at Elite Dangerous. This is the Alliance Chieftain ship from Elite Dangerous, another amazing space game, in No Man's Sky. It's half disassembled right now because I'm about to give a construction tutorial, but this is the completed half of the ship. I don't think I'll be able to have a reference image up to show the side-by-side comparison of what it looks like because I'm editing this on PS5, but if I figure out a way to do it, then I will. So that's for editing me to take care of. But without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get straight into the construction. So the way the ship is laid out is that it is a 1x3 body with all the details built on top of it. So it's 3 stories tall. You can see here the ground entrance area. The ramp is at the back of the ship. You can move this to the front if you want. It probably will change the aesthetics of it a little bit because it will not line up flush with this panel here. But it's your version of the ship, you can do what you want. It's held up by 2 of these landing thrusters here, the mag field. You can swap these out with normal landing gear, but they tend to bulk up a lot on the bottom of the ship whenever they're retracted, and it just kind of ruins the streamlined look. You don't even really notice that these ones are there until you're looking at it from a very specific angle. Now, the ground floor of the ship is the ramp, preceded by a Thunder class habitation module, and then 2 of these little hallways. This one right here is the one that has the elevator that drops down the landing bay. You don't have to include this if you don't want to. In my experience, it actually kind of gets in the way a little bit when you're running around inside, so that's just personal preference. But the bottom layer is 4 of these individual modules long. If we cut away the outside modules here, so the second layer, directly building on top of the first, is 6 long. It overhangs the front and the back by 1 module. And these can be the habitation modules, they can be the walkways, it's whatever you want to be for the interior. The third level is 5 long. So it is starting from the second of the front on the first layer. Starting there, going back, it's 2, 3, 4, 5 modules, and then I have a window built on the back here, but again, personal preference, you can remove that. That is the core superstructure of the ship that is on the innermost layer. The outermost layer is simply 4 habitation modules stacked on top of each other. So it's 1 here, and then 2 right on top of them. If we fly around to the finished side, we can see that the modules start here, directly underneath the wing root, and they extend towards the rear of the ship. So that is what the overall superstructure of the ship looks like with no paneling. To begin with the details, the first thing we're going to do is underneath the cockpit, which we're going to mount on the frontmost second floor module, you're going to use one of these, a Vesper cowling. This is just going to flip upside down and slap right onto the bottom of the cockpit. The side trim of the cockpit is very easy. It is 4 of these turbine aerofoils. So you simply flip these around and then click them down so the tip of it is flush with this little cockpit ramp module we built at the front of the ship. Directly on top of where the cockpit sits, you can see this bare module where I've mounted one of my photon cannon arrays. This gets a Vesper cowling as well, just sitting right there on top. And you can see the cannon kind of clips through it, and in the game Elite Dangerous, this is actually roughly where one of the hard points is, so it kind of matches up with that in-game model. Okay, so once you've got the superstructure in place and the front details of the canopy done, next what you want to do is grab a walkway that you don't care about, one of these little things to use as scaffolding. You're going to place one right here on the ground floor of that second of the... You're going to place it right here on the second floor of the ship, right next to the habitation module you built. Then you're going to grab one of these Arcadia blades. This is going to go upside down, and it's going to flip and fit so the narrow part of the wing is going into the fuselage. So once you have that placed, you can grab the engine. The engine is going to mount straight onto that part of the wing. So that is what is actually holding it up into the ship. These little bits up here are just for detailing. So then once you have this done, you can take this scaffold block, make a copy, put another one right on top of it. Then you're going to grab one of these Super Cruise airfoils. This is going to click right there onto that second module. And then you just need another Arcadia blade. and that's going to fit onto the actual superstructure itself here. After that, you can just delete these scaffolds because you don't need them anymore, and that's pretty much the whole wing strut assembly done. Alright, next we're going to do a little bit of the underbelly detailing because this is going to set up what we're doing next. So what you want to do is grab one of these little hydraulic slopes. This is the one I use. You can use whichever one you want. I just like this one because the pumps sticking out of it kind of connect more to the wing and it makes it look a lot more grounded. It just gives it that little extra greebling it needs. So you put one right there. Next you're going to grab one of these Arcadia stabilizers. And this is going to fit directly underneath the pump you just put down and kind of clip through into this wing piece that's coming off the cockpit. And with that, you want to grab one of these little phase beam arrays or whatever other kind of weapon you want to put here. I put this one here because the weapon pod sticking out the bottom looks really cool. And it's also sort of mirroring the in-game hardpoints that Elite Dangerous has for this ship. Now, once we have that done, we're going to do the underbelly detailing here real quick. So you just want some of these hard frame cowlings, and again, you can use whichever slope piece you want. I just use this one. But two of these here. And for the back, we're actually going to get a Vesper diffuser. This is going to attach from this third module here, the last actual habitation area that we have, and it's going to extend outwards towards the ramp and kind of help it have a more flush look. Alright, and then up here at the top of the ship, we're going to put some weapons in and some detailing. So, torpedo launcher goes right here. First slot that's directly behind the ramp we put on the cockpit. And then this is going to be two of the Speedbird cowlings, one facing forward, one facing backwards. After you put those cowlings down, you want to grab your reactors. You can use any of the four you want. You want to take your Medusa class reactor, put that right here. It's going to clip through the slope of this piece we just put down. And then get your secondary reactor, in my case the Zenith, and put that right there. That is the top of the ship, at least the middle stripe, all done. Now doing the sides of the top, this is going to be a Vesper diffuser again, just flipped, sat right next to this piece right here, the slope we put down a minute ago. Get another rocket launcher, place it right behind that diffuser, and then you're going to use a Rockhopper fin module. For this, the wings and the fins don't really register other objects very well. They clip through each other very easily, so this makes it a perfect piece of detailing to use in this area to give the rocket launcher a little more of a bespoke look. After that, you'll get an Argonaut fuel cover that's going to sit immediately behind the rocket launcher, and then grab the Ambassador sublight thruster. That's going to be one of the two main rear engines. Once you have the thruster in, grab the Arcadia S-foil, that's the fin I choose to use up here. That's going to attach to the side of the reactor, and you can see it'll clip straight through the engine just like I was saying a minute ago. And that gives it a nice kind of factory OEM looking blending of the two surfaces. So for the middle body area of the ship, I put a window in here because that's one area that I have for just kind of like crew lounge area as well as some storage and stuff that I have going on. And it just helps kind of open the space up a little bit, being able to look out into the void while you're flying around on autopilot. So I'm going to put one right here. It's going to go kind of on the first slot of this middle habitation area, if that makes sense. So like counting from the back, it's 1, 2, and then on the third one, you're going to want to put this down. If you place it any further back or further forward, the trim pieces will clip through the windows and they can actually get your character stuck in there. And I unfortunately know that from experience. Now next what we're going to need is one of these right here, an Argonaut aerofoil, and a, surprise to no one, another Arcadia blade. Now the blade is going to just mirror right here. It's going to sit right in the crook of this little airfoil design that we made earlier. And the fin, if I can grab it real quick, or the airfoil, sorry. The fin is going to nest right up in the little crook right there, that kind of little corner that's made by these pieces overlapping. And you can see if this window was moved forwards, this surface would be clipping through the windows almost halfway, and trust me, it's pretty annoying. Next, we're going to be doing some more undercarriage detailing. This is going to set up the strut for the main engines out here in the back. So we're just going to use 2 Arcadia blades coming around here to the back of the ship. I'm going to mirror it the way it actually needs to go. It's going to sit right here. So this is the level directly above the airlock at the back of the ship. Okay, so the next bit that we're going to do is the engine corner piece of detailing over here. For the slope right here above the ramp, you can use any slope piece that you want. You can use an albatross side pod, that looks good too. Argonaut cowling is what I'm using, Argonaut fuel cover, all kinds of stuff like that. This is just what I use to help streamline it. But we've got this little pocket of space here you can see is not really occupied by anything on the unfinished side, but over here I've got a rock hopper fin that goes there. Before we can do that, we need to place a couple other small objects first. So we need one of these habitation modules to come out. And we need to drop a little Arcadia blade right on the side of it. So just like that, we can then delete that module and grab the fin, and that should fit right into that little pocket that was created that is now anchoring onto this Arcadia blade. Okay, so once we have this fin out here, we're going to mount the engine to it. So you're going to grab your walkway scaffolding that you're using, and that is what the engine is going to fit onto. Now the blade should be right in the middle of that habitation module I just put down. It should not be forward or backwards, otherwise it'll offset the whole look of the engine and it'll mess everything up. Once you're done, you can delete that scaffold module. Then you're going to get one of the fins, the rock hopper fin, flip that around, and stick it right where the scaffolding was. Then in front of that, we're going to place a streamlined trim cap. Now once that's done, up here, this empty area is going to kind of look like this if you didn't put the window there like I did. You can put any of the windows there. I just prefer the seamless one because the rounded kind of just breaks up the angular aesthetic of the whole ship, and it does give more visibility, but I just don't really like it for aesthetic reasons. You can put a panel window there too. That looks good, but the shape will be determined based on what habitation module you're placing it on. So this is a Thunderbird class. You can see it had that weird swirly pattern to it. If I do an Ambassador class and plug that in there, you can see this has more of an angular look to it. So that will influence what the window aesthetics look like for the porthole. But that should be everything. So whenever you're done, your Chieftain should look pretty much just like mine. You can ignore the complexity limit in the top right. That is not an accurate number. I have internal detailings that are inside the ship right now that are counting towards the build count, since I'm still in the dry dock area. Once you leave, you can put however many decorations and stuff on your ship as you want, even normal building parts, and it will not break the complexity limit. But while you are in here working on your ship in dry dock, it needs to stay under 100 pieces. Okay, so to the best of my ability, I'm going to read off an itemized list of what the actual components and such are you need for the ship for the detailing alone. The habitation modules and the walkways are not included in this figure, simply because I forgot to actually count those down. But you're going to need 10 Arcadia blades, 4 Thunderbird heavy engines, 2 Argonaut fuel covers, 3 torpedo launchers, 1 Vesper cowling, 6 turbine aerofolds, 2 phase beam arrays, 2 Arcadia stabilizers, 4 hard frame cowlings, 2 Vesper diffusers, 2 Argonaut aerofoils, 6 rockhopper fins, 2 streamlined trim caps, 2 Ambassador sublight thrusters, 1 Argonaut cowling, and 2 Arcadia S foils. The only optionals for this are the windows that I included on the sides of the ship and at the rear, the specific reactor orientation that you go for this like configuration that you want, and the air purifier details, which I actually forgot to add back in. So the air purifier greebling is simply one of these little modules you can get, and you just stick that on directly above the window on the 3rd floor of the ship. So there's one here, and you can see there's another one on this side. That is the Chieftain. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. I've never really made a build guide video like this before, or any type of detailed No Man's Sky video in any sense of the word. But any engagement given to my channel I'd appreciate, and even then you don't have to watch anything from me ever again if you don't care to. But with that, I've been rambling a little too long, and I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. But if you have any issues with it, either comment on the YouTube video or DM me on Reddit, where this is going to be linked and shared, and I will get back to you as best I can. Thank you for watching.